really think that there still needs to be that conversation of why are we not getting a larger slice of what's going on? And there's still just such an enormous amount of bias out there and an enormous amount of, those in power who have the money are still not understanding the bias that they have towards what they do.
Women have to start liking each other and create power partnerships. And successful women should invest in other women-owned businesses. And I think that's how we're going to change it. I think women have to start liking each other and don't see other women as competition, but as power partners, and then grow and scale together. And then when you make the money, you invest in other women-owned businesses because you know how hard it was. I think that's where the change was. It's not coming from men. You have to stop looking at men to make changes for us. It's not going to happen.
And we can look back even to a couple generations ago of people who were stuck in jobs that they didn't like for their whole entire lives because they had to in order to put food on the table. And that was literally the only option. It was just, you have to do this in order to survive. But, and we still pass these beliefs down onto our children and act like that is still true. But the reality is that it doesn't have to be that way. We can actually all support ourselves by being who we are, doing what we love, living lives that we actually enjoy, and be in enoughness instead of in these old, literally childhood induced beliefs of these scarcity seeds.
There's that freedom of entrepreneurship, as you know, but as someone who then walks that line between tell me what to do and don't tell me what to do, it has taken me a lot of time, and I'm calling it experimentation, to really figure out how to run my day and my time so that I don't have a list of 25 things to do that I expect to be done perfectly. I also don't then just sit on the couch and do nothing because I'm overwhelmed. But figuring that out, and as entrepreneurs, like, we've got to keep taking steps forward.
I promise you, there is nothing like you finding a company and you learning more about the founder of the company of like, oh, they care about sustainability as well. Oh, this person worked in this industry and had the same experience that I did. And because of that, like, they started this whole thing here. I feel seen. And when people feel seen and heard, there's a wall that comes down because we are so used to being sold a bag of goods on the internet. When you can cut through the mess and get to a real connection of like, no, I actually believe you, then selling becomes easier. And so when the founder already does that for the brand, for the business, it makes it easier for the sales to close because there is already that connection that happens.
We live in a world where it's so easy to start new things. We launch projects, we pick up habits, we're constantly setting new goals. There's an entire culture built around doing more, hyper productivity. And often that's what's actually getting in the way of what allows us to be our best selves. And it's actually what underpins burnout. So many leaders think that resilience is about constantly adding more, right? Like more mindfulness, more routines, more practices. But real resilience actually comes from shedding the weight of burnout first so that you have space to receive what's new and what's actually going to help you bring more calm and sustainability into the work that you do.
My journey to entrepreneurship has been slow, unexpected, interesting, hard, tiring. There's a lot of feeling of like, am I spending enough time with my kids? Am I spending enough time on the business? Do people like it? Am I getting enough feedback from people? You know, all of those things. But at the same time, I'm so proud of it. I'm really proud of the product. It's a really quality product, which was something I was really adamant about getting it right. There was a lot of back and forth with sampling. I was very, very fussy, which as an entrepreneur, launching a startup, I think can be the mistake a lot of entrepreneurs make. You really want the product to be perfect, but sometimes it just needs to be out there.
Just like lots of things in life that are really worth pursuing, it's this balance of like, what am I doing now? Am I analysis paralysis, or am I, not going into that because of fear? And I know for me personally, when I started buying these larger assets, because I'm just some farm kid who asked a bunch of questions and failed forward and got over this need to be perfect. I think that, if you've read the book or seen the podcast that talk about girls are taught to be perfect and boys are taught to be brave. If you're a high performing girl, you need to be perfect and raise your hand and do everything exactly right. This tendency of when you want to trust your own judgment, you think you'll be able to if you're just perfect. If only I were perfect, right?
Sometimes people lose track of why they started doing it in the first place. And that's not self-kindness. And sometimes we will push so hard, and because sometimes it'll be like, I'm not going to fail. I don't give up. I'm going to prove that this is, but actually, what is that doing to your life? So if you are going to self-advocate, doesn't that mean do things that work for you, do things that light your soul, do things that are going to bring riches to your life, whether they riches in community and love, in money, whatever it is.
Yeah.
So I think reassessing as you go, and okay, so this thing's working out now, but really what I've done is I've created myself a really nasty job that I've got to keep pushing through with. I think so that reassessment along the way is a big one.
But I think it's really easy for the outside world to kind of get in our minds. And it could even be something you read or something you watched, not anything even that close to you, that we let influence. And so I think it's important to, stay strong in what you believe in and be okay, with putting yourself out there for that criticism. I always say too, without those challenges, we don't grow and learn. So sometimes there is a growth opportunity in some of these situations that may not be perfect or may not go the way that we planned. We grow from it and hopefully do it better and different the next time. But it is an opportunity to learn and grow. And that's kind of what we're here doing in life, growing, learning through our experiences.
Personal branding, marketing is about human movement, back to the human. And why we were able to win the award for generate 10,000 impressions with zero marketing budget. How? Because we keep human in mind. We started using AI we rank very high on ChatGPT when people ask 2025 fashion trend. The answer wasn't from GQ, from Taylor, a 2-year-old startup Taylor, right? But how? We would start with marketer having ideas, and then AI iterated, and our personal stylist, human stylist, provide the input. We send it to our customers on these are the styling note, and customer provide feedback on what they think about these clothes, and then back to the AI again, human AI, human AI, human AI. It became a magical flywheel to getting traffic, but the reality, the background of it is not a matter of AI, it's human, because we are solving human problem. So I think back to your question, I think it's about what's your personal branding, is what problem you tend to solve for people, why you bring value to people. And then I think that's what marketing really means.
I think diversity of thought is the strongest building block that you can have in your company. I think I'm brilliant, but listen, other people have brought forward ideas that if that idea hadn't come forward, we wouldn't be anywhere near where we are today. And I never would have thought of it. And it's because they had a different experience in their background. If they could say, either at my prior company, we did this, or I was always attracted to this in school, or I love this aspect of, creativity, or whatever the case may be. So diversity of thought is incredibly important. And generally speaking, diversity of thought is probably also going to mean diversity of background. It may end up showing up on someone's face, but it may not. We don't know. But you really have to fight against hiring clones. You cannot hire a bunch of yous.
there's no one right way to do things. And I think so often, probably why I made so many, we'll call them costly investments, is because I believed that there was a right way and a wrong way, and that I needed to know the right way. And there's a lot of ways, and the only way is right for you. And if I had spent more time really getting clear on what my gifts and talents were, what my values were, what brought me joy, then I probably would have more quickly found the path that was right for me. And then given also to give myself permission to choose that path. Because I think for the longest time, I did things because I thought I felt like I had to, versus just giving myself permission to do whatever the heck I wanted. So for anybody listening who needs this, this is me giving you permission to do whatever the heck you want. And there's no bad decision, because you won't know how it turns out until you're looking in the rearview mirror anyway. So, do what brings you joy.
I love to encourage women especially to think of one mantra and just keep on saying it to yourself. I say every morning, and I kind of started saying this many years ago when I was going through challenges, I used to say, I am okay. I have everything I need, and I got this no matter what. And I say that before I get out of bed to remind myself. I say it out loud. And some mornings, I say it multiple times until I really, really feel it. Like, I got this, I got this, I got this, And I just think that there are so many simple things that we can do to step into our power. And that, this small little micro stepping, it just really makes a difference.
AI companions have been around for quite a while. In China, there is one that exists, and there's 660 million users. And in the rest of the world, we've got, AI companions, at least 33 million. But they are mainly targeted to men as hypersexualized digital girlfriends, hyper real. They all have, double deep breaths, little waists, all of that. We call them subservient sex slaves, right? So, they're fulfilling a different kind of need for men, but women have needs as well, but they look different. And so that's what we're trying to do with Jamie. It's about emotional support. It's about kind of, checking in on you to make sure that that you're a rock star and you're going to kill it. And so that's the need that we're trying to fulfill, which is, just knowing that you've always got someone to talk to.
I witness transformation in the lives of others for sure, because they're going, wow, that's what I needed to hear. But more so, they witness the transformations in themselves, the confidence, the realization that, oh, my voice did matter. Oh, it does make change. It does have an impact. Wow, that's incredible. And when I see women all the time go through this experience where they it's like the light bulb goes on, where, oh, okay, you're right. Okay, you're right. My message does matter. And now when they when they just pass through that gate of fear, they're unstoppable. Unstoppable. They are digging deeper. They are going further. They want to go on podcasts. They want to go on stage now. It is beyond a small group. And that flow, that energy of that they're feeling so empowered to share their voice is the most beautiful thing you'll ever witness in your life. Guaranteed.
What I would say to the entrepreneurs out there and entrepreneur wannabes is just, where would you love to see your life improved? Because that's really what I did. And then stick with it, and then watch people's faces as they appreciate what you're offering, and always make it better, and I think that's kind of was sort of my challenge to myself through the years, is how can I keep making this better? Don't give up when it gets hard, because it definitely got hard. We're like, I can't do this anymore. But I think if we can just keep plugging along and keep improving, then someday you look back and you've got this product that people are grateful for?
The coaching is an amazing, amazing investment. And what that helps you with is it helps you deal with all of the hiccups, all of the little challenges that are going to come up. And think about it. These coaches, they're giving you the best of the best of the best of what they know. And these guys, they don't stop learning. These are lifelong learners. Coaches are lifelong learners. They don't mess around. And so for you, if you're serious about it, and if you're serious that you want to do it and you want to be successful, I've used them for 10 years. Oprah Winfrey, which is a billionaire, has 7 of them. So I have tons of them. I tell you, I don't mess around. I do whatever the successful people do.
I think your purpose is why you're here, your non-negotiables. Like, I am moving into entrepreneurship so I can spend more time with my kids, or because you want to be able to travel more, whatever your non-negotiables are. And it's your purpose of what you want to have accomplished at the end of the day. And I think my purpose is just to show my children that you don't have to stick to one path when you're older, that you can do a bunch of different things and become that more fuller version of yourself. And I think I'm definitely showing them that. And it's not like a very straight path. Mine is definitely crooked and twisty, but I wouldn't have it any other way. And I think that's just a great way to look at life and to teach the younger generation that you can do that too. It's not the way it was when our parents were going through school and through their careers. I think that's my purpose. And I think everyone to have that purpose of that arrow that you are following in your life, and make sure that as you go down that path, everything that you're choosing to do reflects your purpose at the end of the day.
I think that the best way to make sure we're having balance and that women are bringing all of themselves to a workplace in a way that they can elevate themselves and others, to make sure you know who you are not, what is in your control, what is not in your control. And so if you are an entrepreneur and you suck at boundaries, you are going to blow up your business. I promise you. Or you're going to blow up your health or your relationship. Usually the relationship goes first, then the health. And it's a valid path, but I don't think that we realize that it doesn't have to be that way. And the determining factor is your boundaries and how to use your language to empower others.
I was smart, I was capable, I had a senior role. I was caught up in the delivery loop. Do more, be more, achieve more, be more valuable, prove yourself through adding value to everything. And for the first time, I couldn't actually do anything except lie on the couch and recover, and so it was that sort of space of, I didn't know who I was. It's like you took work away from me and I had no idea who I was anymore. Mm. And that was, again, something that I had to work through is, what does this look like for me? Like if I do get better, what does this look like? What am I going to do with the rest of my life? Because I'd suddenly lost interest in, climbing the corporate ladder, which had been the previous sort of, what's the next rung? What's the next promotion? How do I go about, positioning myself for the next big thing? And I found that through that experience, that completely changed for me. I went, actually, that was rubbish. Like, why did I even want that? It was separating me from my kids. It was damaging my relationship with my husband. I was worn out. I was stressed. I was exhausted. I was burnt out. And, so I had that sort of 6 months of treatment to really kind of go, what did I really want to do?
And I thought to myself, well, what do I want to do that's bigger, greater? What have I always wanted to do? And so for any listeners who are out there who are kind of questioning what they're doing, they know they want more. Maybe they've been thinking about entrepreneurship, starting something, which is so easy now today with the online world. That's me. My story is I pulled the Band-Aid. I retired. No guarantee, even though we had 2 kids in college and my income mattered. And 3 years ago, I started my business for the love of. And it can be done at any time. I truly, truly believe that if you have clarity and you know what you're good at and where you want to go. And so I just want to empower anybody, whether it's a side hustle, whether it's a full-time thing, whether you are a stay-at-home mom and you want something to do, it's so easy now if you're willing to take the risk.
I think one of the things that doesn't happen in startups is the concept of seed money. And what that means is before I even start a business, how much am I willing to lose, right? How much am I willing to gamble? Because at the end of the day, just like an investment in the stock market, your company is an investment and it may or may not work out, right? There are going to be lessons that you're going to learn along the way. And so, first of all, deciding, how much do I want to invest up front and creating that seed budget. So how much am I going to spend on inventory if I'm going to get into a retail type of business? If I'm going to hire my first employee, how much am I going to spend? And when do I project that I am going to break even? And when do I project that I am going to turn to a profit? So first of all, putting that money aside as seed money in the beginning and creating a budget for that is extremely important.
I was extroverted, but also strategic. I could kind of if I wanted the coffee date to end in a certain way, I would be pretty damn sure I was going to make sure it ended in that way, based on the clues they were giving me, based on the body language, based on all that things. So it was very opportunistic in that outgoingness. So I think that's a developable skill. And I think for anybody who feels like, I'm not so extroverted, get out there. It's going to be a requirement for so many aspects of the job that's coming up for you when your company actually launches and you're in the fortunate position of building something. You're going to need to leverage that. So go for it. Just go for it.
But strength meaning that's something where you you see the bad coming and you have to be strong and you have to just weather it. Where resilience is pivoting. It's moving around. It's getting to the next thing. It's not always being prepared. In fact, generally speaking, the word in business in particular, we think we prepare for everything, but you don't. And so it's the stuff you don't prepare for and how you react to that I think is a sign of your resilience.
But I don't care if it's day one or day, you've been in business for 5 years. It's never too early to start building that tool chest of professionals that you trust to work with. So a tax accountant is going to be, I'm going to recommend at the top of your list. A financial advisor would be another one. Potentially a bookkeeper would be another one. Your insurance agent would be another one. But all of those people who are they're in your toolkit as a business owner, they are all people that you should be able to feel that you can comfortably reach out to and use as resources to ask those questions of, okay, what question am I not asking that I should be?
I know that there are a lot of people who have come, especially if you've come out of an environment where changing your plan was kind of a failure. You weren't right. You messed up. You didn't know what you were doing. And I think the mindset of an entrepreneur has to be directionally, this is where I'm going. I'm going to constantly reassess. And I think that was for us kind of that more organic growth. And some of the things early on, we thought, this is going to be a big thing for us. Well, it's you kind of got to read the market and realize, that's not really what's going on, as well as sometimes the market changes. What are people talking about right now? You're right now, it's AI. Well, okay. If you're in a services business, most services business, you better at least be able to talk about how that is influencing their work. So it is for those of you, the entrepreneurs who think I got to have everything figured out, you can relax because you can't, right? You're not going to. And if you think you have, pretty good chance you got some blind spots that are going to catch up with you. So it's okay. You just take it as you go,